Bonjour everyone, this is Vincent from Albert, and today we're going to take a look at how you can leverage GenAI to build a skills framework. This video is a part of a series we did about how GenAI can improve the use of Albert. If you want to find out more about our stance on GenAI, oh boy, do we have some great content for you on our blog and on LinkedIn. But in a nutshell, we take GenAI for what it is, a commodity that can be sometimes a little inconsistent and bring a lot of security concerns, which is why all the GPTs and agents I'll be showing you can be implemented with your own technology of choice. Today, in this case, we will be using OpenAI's custom GPT, which relies on GPT-4o. Well, for now at least, because everything bloody changes every week or so. Anyway, you'd get similar results using Mistral's Le Chat, which is based on Mistral 7b, or Cloud Sonnet from Anthropic, or whatever. It doesn't really matter for what we will be doing. What matters are the prompt. And today, I will show you how you can easily and quickly draft a skills framework. Mind you, this is not going to replace a top-tier consultancy in doing so, but it's a great place to start from. And it's going to give a nice touch to your SWP inside Albert. You can always iterate later and improve it should you need to. Let's see how it works. Basically, it's going to prompt the user following a defined set of steps. All right, let's start. Let's say I want to build a skills framework for my company. So the first step would be obviously to define the company and industry information. The second step would be the job domains and roles. The third step is going to be skills generation. The fourth one is the skill proficiency levels. Like if I want to define, is it binary? I have the skill, I don't have it, or there's a beginner's level, advanced, expert, etc. So you can define the scale. The step 5 are the skills descriptions. Step number 6 is, do we want to have some form of criticality related to the skills? And the last step is, do you want to export the file into a format that would be easily inserted or uploaded inside Albert, which is obviously very handy if you are already an Albert customer. All right, let's begin. Let's just take a simple example for now. For instance, I work for Albert, a SaaS company. And instead of describing exactly what my company is doing, I'm just going to give it the URL of our website. There. All right, that's it for step 1. And it has most of the information right. Perfect. Let's move on to step number 2. Define the job domains and job roles. Here it's going to suggest some job domains and job roles that could be of interest to me. I can modify that, or I can keep it as it is. I think it's rather interesting, but for the sake of the demonstration, I am going to focus on the developers. So let's focus on what you called engineering and rename it software developers. All right, now for step 3, it is automatically suggesting a few job roles that are derived from the job domain. As it is, I think it's pretty interesting, so I'm going to keep those. But I could focus on, mostly, for instance, the full stack developers or the DevOps engineers. I choose. Now, for step 4, I can choose several options. I can go very detailed or, with only the essentials. You don't want to go into too much detail usually, because otherwise it's going to be very hard to maintain over time. In my case, I want to keep it fundamental, and I also need to confirm that I'm happy with the jobs that were mapped in the first place. So I'm happy with the roles identified, and I want to keep it fundamental. So now what it is doing, it is going to generate a set of competencies for each role. So this is the list that you're seeing here. I can modify that. I can make suggestions as well. but it covers mostly all the basics that I need. Now for step 6, I have a few extra steps that I can take if I want. For instance, I can add some proficiency levels, as I've mentioned earlier. I can create some skills descriptions. I can also tag some skills with to what extent they are hard to find, critical, emerging, very common, etc. Or I can move directly to exporting them into Excel spreadsheet. I believe most of them are quite self-explanatory, so I'm going to skip the skill descriptions. However, I'd like to have a 4-point scale and I'd like to tag their criticality. You know what? I've changed my mind and I believe I now want some descriptions. So let's do that and get ready for export. Cool. So for each role, I now have a set of skills and I have criticality, but also some skill descriptions, which is great. Last but not least, I have everything now that I need in a format that I can use to import directly inside Albert. And voila, that's it. You have everything you need to actually have a first draft of a skills framework that you can easily use inside Albert. Make sure to reach out to us if you want to know more about it and how it can be implemented within your company.